Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. Before we get going, I would just like to thank everyone that has watched the previous video and taken the time to leave a comment and enter into the giveaway. I'm really enjoying reading through your suggestions and there are some excellent ones in there. If you haven't seen the previous video, I shall link it in the card, I shall link it in the description, and I'll also leave it at the end card as well so you can go back and watch it later after you have watched this video. The closing date for the giveaway is this coming Sunday, so you have until Sunday to think of a suggestion and stick it down in a comment to be entered into the giveaway. Also, the T's and C's for the competition are in the description in the other video. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, I've got a bit of a confession to make before we start the video. I have run out of time today, I have run out of daylight today. I also have a really red eye, I don't know if you can see it or not, that hence the reason I have no eye makeup on, because it's too sore. I got, for want of a better word, I got let's just say farm liquids in it and it's still really sore. I have bathed it and washed it out though. Delightful conversation. Anyway, yeah, a bit of a confession. I wanted to play around more with the Posca paint pens, and if you didn't see the first video, I'll put that video in the end card so you can go and watch that one as well. You guys are going to be busy. The idea behind me doing it was I have a bit of a fixation with black paper and I wanted to see how well they would behave on black paper in terms of actually creating a nice piece of work that wasn't just flat sort of 2D plain colour. So that is what we're going to do today, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to put it in one of the frames on the gallery wall behind me. I don't know how many of you have been observant and noticed that I have changed not only the pictures in the frames but I've moved the frames around as well. The frame that this picture was going to go into was the little one that used to have all the Yoshis in it. I did that illustration way back last year sometime, and when I took it down off the wall to take the Yoshis out of the frame, I broke the glass in the frame. So the new frame that I've got is a lot bigger. I'll show you it when we get to top down view. So I've had to kind of change the scale of what I want to do now. So yeah, nothing like screwing everything up at the last minute when you're due to put out a video when you've also changed your video schedule. What was I thinking? Anyway, so that is what we're going to do today. I hope you enjoy, and let's just get everything together and we can get going. So here you can see the sizes of the photo frame that I've got, and the first thing we need to do is get the mount out so that we can judge what size our picture needs to be. And here I have taken a sheet of black paper from my black sketchbook, which is one of my favourites, and all I'm doing is using an HB pencil here to draw around the inside of the mount so we know the visible part of the picture. Now when I go to cut it out, I will cut outside that line. I'm using a graphic F pencil, which is a fine pencil, and that's just so that I can keep the lines very thin and the paint will cover them up as well, which is awesome. I did practice out some of these on my normal sketchbook before I started here, so I'm doing like a geode cluster. I think they're so pretty, I've seen some lovely ones, and I just thought that having the really bright and vibrant colours of the Posca pen, it lent itself perfectly to it, and also as well it's going to stand out like nobody's business on this black paper. So when I'm sketching out my lines here, I'm kind of a person, I try not to use a ruler if I can help it, and one of the things that I've found has made me better at drawing is to practice drawing straight lines without a ruler. So I made the decision that I was just going to do this freehand. So I drew out the basic shape, as you can see, and then after that I went in and started adding the details to where all the facets and cuts and angles on each geode would be. Now I didn't do this in any sort of scientific fashion, I literally just chucked in some lines and decided if they looked good or not. Throughout the rest of the video you will see me stopping and tilting the paper, and it's just so that you can see the glitter Posca pens, because under artificial light they are quite sort of stark and it messes with the light balance. So it's just to let you see what I've done. So starting off, all I wanted to do was get down the base colour, the block colours, or the underneath colours if you like. And that is all I'm doing here. So I've picked groups of blues, greens, purples, pinks, and used them on each of the different geodes. So you can see there on the pink one, I've got quite a pale pink, I've got a glittery pink, and I've got a kind of neon pink as well. And that was really to simulate the different facets catching the light in different ways. One thing I did find is that with the glitter pens, they didn't they weren't as opaque as the matte ones, obviously, and I did go back later on and go over with a second layer of some of the glitter ones on the areas, especially the green one at the back. You can see there, you can see quite a lot of the paper through it, so I did go back later on and fix that. So that was absolutely fine, and I was actually quite pleased with how bright and vibrant the colours are. These pens are just so much fun, and it's really nice to do something like this that's really bright and colourful, and it just, I don't know, it kind of makes me happy, but lots of bright colours together like this always make me happy. Now this part here at the bottom, I wanted some differentiation between the actual geodes poking out and what was the base of the rock, if you like. So I used the metallic gold and silver Posca pens, and the ink flow or the paint flow in those is much faster than the other pens, so I was kind of like, oh okay, should have tested that out before I tried it. But it actually fitted in quite well with what I wanted to do at the bottom. In amongst that gold and silver, I've just taken the darker matte base colours to fill in all the little sort of knobbly bits at the bottom. So here we go, I'm just checking that everything's going to sit in the frame all right, and I'm happy with that. And now we're on to some details. So what I've done here is I have taken some of the darker pens again, and I've just added in some darker colour at the base of each geode, and then I've just put some little sort of flicky lines on the outside to show some imperfections and the darker colours that might be inside the stone. And it gives a really nice effect, and it also brings a bit of variation and a bit of colour into each of the different bits that are sort of poking up. I wasn't particularly what's the word I'm looking for? I wasn't particularly careful on what colours I picked. Obviously, I wanted something that kind of complemented the colours that were there. So you can see I've used purple on top of pink. And having the limitations of only having certain colours, you kind of have to make decisions on what you're doing. So I just tried not to be too sort of uptight about it and just pick things that I thought would go. I'm going in with a black fine liner here, and that is to just put some depth and show some of the sort of cracks and things in the base of that piece. And after that, I'm going into the opposite end and I'm putting in my highlights. Now, I've using a sort of broken line here, and some of you will have seen me do it on some of my other drawings. It's something I like to do to depict an outline on things that are made of glass. So it's just a sort of series of dots and lines, kind of like Morse code. And you can see there that that's just added a really nice sort of finish to the picture. I did feel that with just the bare colour Posca that it looked kind of just unfinished basically. So I went round the whole picture with my white Posca and added in all these diddy little lines. I didn't do it much on the base. On the base of the piece, I decided to put in some of my little flicky lines, again just to show some imperfections and maybe where the light would catch on the shorter, fatter bits at the bottom. So woo, you can see there we're looking quite good now. And now for the pièce de résistance. My least favourite art supply ever is soft pastel. And I wanted to put a background in here, but because I was using a supply that's really still sort of in the experimental stage, I didn't want to do anything too crazy or ambitious. So I thought that these geodes might give off some sort of glow, and I'm just taking my finger and I'm just going to smudge that right into the paper. The nice thing about this paper is it takes most mediums quite well, and pastel itself, soft pastel, is very forgiving, so you can work away. And I did spend quite a while adding more of the chalk pastel to the paper and smudging it out a bit more and going back and repeating the process until I had the vibrancy that I wanted. So you can see I've created kind of like a glow ring around it, and it just finishes it off quite nicely. So all that's left to do is sign it, and let's see if we can get it in the frame, more to the point. So I've managed to squeeze it in here, and I'm just squishing the back on the back of the frame again, which took me ages, by the way, it was tight. And there we have it. That is our finished geodes in our Posca pen. So the pens hold up great on black paper, and I hope you guys try it out for yourself because I had the best fun doing this. Ta-da! Everybody's happy. Thanks again. Here are the promised links to the other videos that I mentioned in the introduction. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. That helps out our teeny weeny little channel here at the Colour Cave. We shall see you on Sunday for our next video. See you later.